This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam, a new podcast for engaged couples concerned about wedding planning and family expectations but want a stress-free, fun, and unforgettable wedding.
Hi, I'm Sal from After Hours Events of New England.
I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions DJ Service.
Welcome to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
What happens at a rehearsal dinner? Who is invited? Who pays for it? How long is a typical rehearsal? By the time this edition is over, you will have the answers to all those questions and more.
With over 80 years of combined wedding experience and insider information, this is Stress-Free Wedding Planning with your hosts, Sal and Sam. A new podcast for engaged couples who are stressed about wedding planning and family expectations, but want to have a fun wedding. Listen now for revealing wedding insider secrets, tips, and strategy or lesson that you'll be able to implement for a stress-free wedding. Information that you just can't miss and may just change your life. Take the journey with us from worry and concern to a stress-free and unforgettable wedding day. The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
On today's edition, an important question: what is a rehearsal dinner? Good question, eh, Sal?
A lot of people don't understand.
A rehearsal dinner is usually after the rehearsal of the wedding ceremony. So you get everybody together, you practice how you're going to walk down the aisle, and then you go out to dinner afterwards. Typically, this is done the night before the wedding ceremony, or at least a few days in advance. Tradition has it that the groom's parents pay for this. They are the host. But in today's modern world, most couples share that honor. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's definitely changed. I find that couples are paying for it sometimes nowadays.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've also heard of family members gifting this very moment to help the family out.
Oh, that's nice. I like that idea very much. So what is the schedule that you do? Now that we've explained what a rehearsal dinner is, what happens? Well, one of the first things that you have to do before you even pick the schedule is to plan ahead and leave enough time if the ceremony is in one location and the dinner is in another. So make sure that you don't have the ceremony an hour away from where you're going to have the dinner, because after you finish planning the ceremony, then you have to drive an hour, eat, and then drive home. You want to make it as close as possible.
And you have to keep in mind, too, how long that ceremony rehearsal may take.
That's true.
On average, it takes about an hour. And the reason why, there's always people who are late.
Yeah.
For those people you know that are always late, you should give them a different time.
Yes. I say when we do that is 30 minutes. Give them a 30-minute window, and then that way maybe they'll show up on time.
You know, sometimes that doesn't even work. My sister, we gave her a special invite. We told her for the wedding itself that it was an hour prior to the actual time. She showed up 3 minutes before it started.
Oh, my goodness. So it worked out fine for her. Right?
Absolutely.
You can have a meal. Obviously, that's why it's called the rehearsal dinner. But it doesn't have to be dinner. It can be lunch. It can be brunch. Or, of course, it can be an evening dinner. The food doesn't have to be sit down, knife and fork. There have been loads of different ways of doing this. A barbecue in the backyard, which is great.
A lot of fun.
A catered buffet or a pizza truck are other ideas. Let your mind go wherever you want to with food, because you are no longer limited that it has to be sit down in a restaurant. I love pizza. So anything that you do with pizza is fine with me.
There you go. Just keep allergies in thought there. For anything you do, allergies you need to know.
The next one up is dress code. Let your guests know ahead of time what the dress code is going to be. Remember, they're going to the practice for the ceremony, then they're going right out to dinner. So if you're having it in a fancy restaurant, tell people that they have to dress up. Or if you're just going to have a barbecue outside, tell them to wear shorts and a t-shirt. So the dress code is going to be very important depending on the situation.
Something that's really important is to stress the importance of the dress code, because if you don't really go over that well, people may dress in a total different way that's not appropriate for where you're going to be.
And on the invitation for the rehearsal dinner, this should be clearly printed. Remember, rehearsal dinner invites go out separately than wedding invites. Don't get confused by those two terms. Next up is, who do you invite? This is great. You don't invite everybody. Remember, this is a rehearsal dinner. So you've rehearsed for the ceremony. Who goes to the rehearsal? The members of the wedding party, immediate family members. Obviously, invite the officiant, the parents of the flower girls, ring bearers, junior bridesmaids, the groomsmen. These people should all be invited to the rehearsal. Now, that may be a lot of people, so, be cognizant of this when you're kind of planning. You might have to limit a few people too.
So budget's gonna depend on a lot of things. So if if you know your budget and you're like, ooh, I can't have each groomsman or each bridesmaid bring the +1. Well, you need to make that clear.
Exactly. Make it clear up front. And also make sure if it's adults only, you indicate that adults only, no children.
Absolutely.
You can do that as well. We're going to come back and we're going to finish up with the speeches and the gifts and some quick tips that we have all about the rehearsal dinner.
You're listening to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is brought to you by Emerge Cosmetics. Are you ready to emerge? A new line of luxurious lipsticks and lip glosses created with the intention of empowerment and coming into who you truly are. Strong, beautiful, and confident. Use coupon code EBI10 at shopemergecosmetics.com for an instant 10% discount. That's coupon code EBI10 for 10% discount at shopemergecosmetics.com. Emerge as the true you.
And on today's Wedding Tip Wednesday, keep a copy of the ceremony.
Keep a copy of the ceremony wording on your phone. Send a copy to your best persons. If the original gets lost or misplaced or an emergency like the officiant not showing up, then you have a ceremony script and vows ready to go.
Now, isn't this a fantastic tip? I think you passed this on to us a little earlier in one of our editions. And the reason for it was because
the officiant did not make it to the wedding. And now what was able to be done is they were able to email it to me through their phone. And now I was able to bring it up and be able to use it for their actual ceremony.
Because you are an officiant.
I am a wedding officiant, yes. Yeah, having a separate person worrying about that is better than having the couple worrying about that. So if the best man, maid of honor, best woman, whoever has that on their phone, we could go up to them directly and take care of it.
So this is a great tip. Very important. Make sure your best persons have just a simple copy in text format or PDF or whatever on their phone, or even if you have to print out a copy and give it to somebody, then that way you have this backup plan in place.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is available on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group page every Wednesday. Join the group for free.
You're not the same as the person next to you. You dress to reflect your personality. You enjoy customizing your drink at the coffee shop. Even your pet's collars match at least 2 pairs of your pants. It's only natural that your wedding would showcase your unique touch. After Hours Events of New England gets this. They like to give their clients full artistic control. If you find yourself lost, their team of event specialists can help. They handle everything from DJs, photo booths, event lighting, photography, videography, even officiants. Give them a visit on the web and call today. Let's get planning. After Hours Events of New England. AfterHoursEventsOfNE.com. Don't forget to like and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and be sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel, all at After Hours Events of NE. That's After Hours Events of NE.
Don't know what to do for your first dance? Is your future spouse having trouble picking a song to dance with their parent? Worry no more. I have the answer. Go to afterhourseventsofne.com/contact guest. That is CONTACTGUEST. And you'll be able to listen to hours of music to help you select the right songs for your upcoming wedding. Again, go to afterhourseventsofne.com/contact guest.
Do you want access to a stress-free wedding planning process? Then go to our website, allthews.atmosphere-productions.com, and get my free report. 8 questions you must ask a wedding professional before booking them. Get it today. That's allthews.atmosphere-productions.com. Look for the free report and learn to shop like a pro from a pro and go from concern and worry to stress-free wedding planning.
When your wedding entertainment has to have amazing music, be fun, organized, and professional, your choice has to be Atmosphere Productions. DJs, live musicians, custom lighting, and photo booths. As seen on the TLC TV series 4 Weddings, winner of the Wedding Wire Couples Choice Award and DJ Times DJ of the Month. Experience the difference. www.atmosphere-productions.com. That's www.atmosphere-productions.com.
Now, as you spend the next week planning your wedding, if you want me, Sam, or our community of stress-free, engaged couples and wedding experts to answer any wedding-related questions, join us over in the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group. Once you're in, go ahead and share your concerns and worries, and we'll let you know if you're on the right track or if you should be doing something else that would work better. The link to join us is in the show notes of this edition, or go to Facebook and search the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Community.
Destination Weddings Unlimited is your destination wedding and honeymoon specialist worldwide. Call us at 844-666-6872. Online at destinationweddingsunlimited.com. Allow us to take the stress and time off your plate so you can have an amazing experience. We're able to walk you through the process and handle all the travel and coordination needs. Destination Weddings Unlimited, online at destinationweddingsunlimited.com.
Everyone is talking about the DJ Pauly Show on YouShook.com.
Hi, everyone. This is Keith Urban, and you're listening to the number one DJ on the planet, DJ Pauly.
What's going on, everybody? This is Charles,
Hillary,
and Dave,
and we are
Lady Antebellum.
And you're listening to the number one DJ on the internet. It's DJ Pauly, y'all.
Hey, y'all. I'm Kelsey Ballerini, and you're listening to the number one DJ on the internet. It's DJ Pauly, y'all.
The DJ Pauly Show on YouShook.com. We dare to be different. Join us and see for yourselves.
You're listening to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Welcome back. We're discussing what is a rehearsal dinner. We've gone through some tips for you already. We've got 2 more very important points that we have to discuss of what happens at the rehearsal dinner. We spoke about the meal. We spoke about the dress code. We spoke about who do you invite. The next thing is the speeches. Now, who gives a speech at the rehearsal dinner?
So typically it's the father of the groom or the mother of the groom or both together.
Yep.
Also, the couple usually says something very heartfelt to everyone, thanking everyone for being such a big part of this.
Yep.
Now, you can have something by your matron of honor and best man, but they're already doing a speech at the wedding, so don't put too much pressure on them.
Yep. Now, remember, you can also, at the rehearsal dinner, invite anyone else that you've invited to come up and say something. This is the point where you can have those long-winded speeches, not at the reception. So at that point of the rehearsal, if Dad is going to speak for 40 minutes, this is where he does it, not at the reception. And this is where you can have open mic. Anybody there can come up and speak and say something. You do not do open mic at the reception. Next up is the gifts. Now, Sal, I love gifts.
So we all.
So if I'm the couple, I would love to receive gifts at the rehearsal, but that's a no-no.
No, yes.
Groomsmen, bridesmaids, the maid of honor, the best man, the ring bearer, the flower girl, all these people should receive gifts. This is the time that you give gifts to these people that are going to be doing things for you. And this is a big time for you to say thank you. This is not a time that you should expect gifts from people. This is a time that you give yourself and your gifts to these specific people that have helped you out.
Now, if you've listened to any of our podcasts, we've always said, you don't really necessarily have to do things this way. But I'm going to tell you, I have had couples who've actually given the gifts the day of the wedding.
No.
Besides the stress of having to take care of that, and now you're trying to give a heartfelt thank you to each person, it's just very time consuming. If you're going to have a rehearsal dinner, this is the best place to do it.
Use this rehearsal dinner to connect with your family and friends. That's what it's all about. It's a time for you to say thank you. Don't plan an extravagant rehearsal dinner either. You want to keep it simple. It should not be a 13-course meal. It should be something simple that's in your budget. As we mentioned before, make sure it's close to where the ceremony is going to be held so that your guests are not so exhausted at the end of the rehearsal dinner that the next day they don't want to do anything, because the next day could be your wedding day.
Now, I've had the question to me is, well, you know what? Our facility doesn't allow us to actually practice the ceremony at the facility.
That's fine.
Do we still have a rehearsal dinner? I say absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this takes care of all these other things, especially giving the gifts to your wedding party, being able to enjoy time with parents, and people being able to speak and say some nice words to you.
Yeah, we had our rehearsal dinner in my backyard because we couldn't physically go to the facility and did it. We had hamburgers, hot dogs, and pizza. We invited everybody over, especially the guests that were staying out of town. And we had the rehearsal, what order we were going to go in for the ceremony. We did it right in the backyard.
And the nice thing about the backyard thing, Sam, is when you are in a restaurant or a confined area, there's some tenseness about that. There's other people around. They're hearing you. Where in the backyard now, you can kind of be free. Now, time is not a limit either. You don't have that 2-hour time limit. You know, you're able to take your time, enjoy.
Yep. Be considerate of your out-of-town guests as well, because especially if you're having it on a Friday or a Thursday, they have to work and their schedules matter. So remember that when you're scheduling your rehearsal dinner, and always stay on budget. Don't spend more than you can actually afford. The rehearsal dinner is not something that you should splurge on. It is something that you have to keep within budget, and it's something that you do as a thank you to the family members and groomsmen that have helped you out.
And finally, something else to kind of record the day is maybe having your photographer at this event.
Excellent.
I've had photographers as part of their package, and it's a great little thing to have. So just get those very special moments just that you wouldn't have had any other time.
Yeah, and you combine that with your wedding day pictures, and now you'll have a documentation of exactly what happened before your wedding. So that explains what a rehearsal dinner is. Remember, you have to pick the food, whether it's a lunch, brunch, or dinner. You get to choose that. Remember the dress code. You get to tell your guests that you're inviting how to dress, and it's got to be appropriate. Who to invite. Obviously, the members of the wedding party are very important, and immediate family. We went through and explained that for you. And the speeches. Who gives the speech? Obviously, the couple, they're the guest of honor. They should say something. And the gifts. We explained who gets the gifts, and we give you a few tips as well. So that explains what a rehearsal dinner is.
You're listening to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
So there you have it. We just shared with you exactly what a rehearsal dinner is. You also learned the different elements and some insider tips and strategies that you can take immediately to plan a stress-free rehearsal dinner.
Now, as you spend the next week planning your wedding, if you want me, Sal, and our community of stress-free engaged couples and wedding experts to answer any wedding-related questions, then join us over in the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group. Once you're in, go ahead and share your concerns and worries, and we'll let you know if you're on the right track, or if there's some things that you need to work on. The link to join us is in the show notes of this edition, or go to Facebook and search for the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Community.
The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast is produced and copyrighted by Atmosphere Productions in association with After Hours Events of New England.